Well, hello. Today we are with Larry Cavelli, and he lived through the Great Depression and World War II. And my first question to you, I guess, would be, so...
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
I was born in 1928 in Bethlehem Park, the old village.
Which is what?
It's
Explain.
like row houses. They were row houses. My parents, when they first came here from Italy, I was pregnant. My mother was pregnant with me when she crossed the oceans. Anyway, and I was born in the old village.
Bethlehem Park was a park where people who worked at Bethlehem Steel lived.
Yeah.
These kids
Okay.
don't know
Oh.
that. I mean, that's an interesting piece
You're
of...
going to interfere.
Well, Larry, I'm trying to
You're trying to help.
help
Okay.
you.
So yeah,
That
just
you're
like,
forgetting.
Okay.
this has to be 45 minutes, so like, explain as much as
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
About what?
About
What's your-
Everything.
everything.
Everything. Okay.
Everything.
I was born.
Should we take it from the top?
No, it's okay. Just go ahead. However you feel comfortable.
Born in the old village in Lackawanna, New York. Was right near Bethlehem Steel. Bethlehem Steel was the main employment for a lot of people. It employed 45,000 people. So that was quite a place.
So that's where your father worked?
Yeah, my father worked there, but during the Depression, he only worked there 8 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So he kept his job throughout the Depression?
Yeah. And he made wine, him and his friends.
Italians.
And they, anyway, the Bethlehem Steel was the main place of employment, but Lackawanna also had Ford Company, a lot of other companies. There were airplane during the war, Bell Aircraft, Curtiss Aircraft, and it was quite essential, it was very essential during the war, because they produced a lot of weapons and vehicles for armed forces.
Yeah.
And let me see, I remember standing in bread lines with my mother during the Depression, where they gave you bread, free bread, and probably cheese or something like that. But I was a little kid, 4 years old.
What was that experience like? Waiting in bread lines?
I didn't know we were poor. I was a kid. I was still having fun. I had other kids that we played with. You don't realize what you're in when you're you're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
When you're that small, you don't realize anything, whether you're poor, rich, or nothing. All you know is you're a kid and you're having fun. That's it. You don't know you're poor. You don't know what that even means. But because everybody was the same as you. You know what I mean? There wasn't nobody like rich that you lived next door to. You know what I mean? Or a family with a lot of goodies and all that stuff. All the people were the same at that time.
So where is this?
Huh?
Where is all this happening?
In Bethlehem, in Lackawanna.
Lackawanna is...
Yeah.
Where is that?
Bethlehem Park.
What state is that?
Huh?
Where is it? From Buffalo, Larry?
It's in
Buffalo, New York?
Lackawanna. It's south
South of Buffalo?
of Buffalo.
South of Buffalo.
And that's where the steel plant was. I lived next to the steel plant mostly all my life while I was growing up, going to high school and everything.
So did you primarily... Was your community basically Italian immigrants?
No, there was mixed. It was Slovaks, Italians, Polish, Ukrainian. My next door neighbor was Ukrainian. In fact, he's my kumbari. He was my
Godfather.
my godfather. But it was a mixture of people.
So,
It wasn't like all Italian. It was a lot Italian, but a lot of other people also.
so these people are all new immigrants to the United
Yeah.
States?
Yeah, well, kids my age were born here, but their parents were all immigrants.
So where did your parents come from?
Italy, Calabria,
Both of them?
yes. And that's known for hard-headed people. Calabrese, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, so your father was a steel plant worker. What did your mother do?
She was a homemaker. She made bread, she made macaroni, she made great sauce.
Did she
Great.
sell any of those goodies?
Huh?
Did she sell any of them?
No.
No?
No, she just made it for her family. We were 6 kids all together because my father had 4 children with his first wife.
Were you the youngest, or?
No, Uncle Elmer was the youngest. He just passed away last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm the only one left. I don't know what they're saving me for, but to do this interview.
I guess so. So, being an Italian immigrant in America in Buffalo, were you discriminated at all?
Yeah, well, when we moved from Bethlehem Park to South Buffalo, which was all Irish, I was discriminated against.
What would people say?
Well, they called me wop, meatball, and I always was in a fight, you know,
Yeah.
because I didn't like that.
Were they just like? Do you think that they the Irish people truly didn't like Italians, or what? Do you think it was just they were just
I don't know.
making fun of you?
They just wanted to make fun of somebody, you know.
Well, it's possible that they felt,
What?
you know, that maybe the Italians were taking away jobs or something.
No.
No?
They
Well,
were higher, you know, the Germans, the first people that came to America were all wasps. You know what I mean?
White
They
English,
were English, German,
White English.
and we were like the Mexicans, you know, are now, or were in this country. You know what I mean? We
The
were
new-
discriminated. We did all the bullshit jobs.
Yeah.
You know, nobody was like trained to do anything till their children went to school, you know, and they became part of the population, educated population. Because
So-
our parents weren't educated in America; they were educated in Europe, in Italy, and so they didn't speak good English. You know, so that was like a little detriment, you know, for the people to pick on them.
So did you stay in school throughout the Depression?
Sure. Well, I was in a school throughout the Depression. I was 4 years old when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected, 1932. And he started getting the people out of the Depression. He had the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, for children, you know, for young boys. What else? And in fact, my brother Gene was in the CCC. But you know what? After they trained him in New York, they sent them to California to fight the fires.
What is the CCC?
Civilian Conservation Corps.
What does that?
Well, they gave you work, young teenagers work, because there was no work around. They got people to work. And they were like what it says, it's conservation. But my brother Gene, like I said, he was out here fighting fires. That's where they sent him after they trained him.
And he was getting paid to do that?
Well, yeah, I don't know how much they were making. I have no idea of that. But it was a job. And a lot of the young people did that, Not me, because I was way too young. But I remember my brothers and our friends, my brother's friends, all doing something to work, so they could work. And what else?
Do you want to move?
Just a minute.
So do you remember anything else about FDR and his
FDR?
policies?
Yeah, he served.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
That's why he served. He was elected 4 times, 4 terms. That's why Republicans said, "Oh no, only 2 years, 2 terms." You need at least 4 terms to get stuff
Anything
straightened
done.
out, So they really made it impossible for this country to really progress. The guy's in there 8 years. What's he going to do? It's a big responsibility, this country. And we're supposed to be the best, Of course, it used to be the best. Now it's bullshit. It is. We're giving everything away.
Yeah.
It used to be great. You used to be proud to be an American, But now, I'm still proud, but it don't mean anything anymore.
So you liked that he ran 4 terms?
Huh?
You liked that he ran and was elected for 4 terms?
Yeah. We were terrible. We were in a depression. He got us out of the depression.
Oh, yeah, everybody
He got
liked
us
him.
out.
Yeah, he was liked by many people, not only
Yeah.
Democrat and Republicans.
There,
but,
what the
a lot.
Democrats were
Yeah,
the
well,
more liberal people.
maybe he did more for the
As you
Democrats.
see, the Republicans are all for themselves, as far as I'm concerned. I'm a die-hard Democrat. But even they're full of it now,
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on what it was like to be an American back in the 30s and 40s? And how that's changed from now?
Well, for me, for my generation, an Italian, I was proud to be an American. But we weren't treated on the same level as like the Irish people, the German people, the English people. You know what I mean? We were on the lower echelon of living. But I was still proud. I was a kid. I served in my, I was in the Navy. I served my country. And right now in Lackawanna, that steel plant is gone. There's nothing there,
No jobs.
What happened to it? You know?
Well, after the war, we started buying steel from China, Germany.
Japan.
We outsourced everything so people be unemployed. You know what I mean? They didn't give a shit about damn about our people here.
American jobs.
They want to make money. You know what I mean? It was cheaper to outsource all these things. That's what's ruining the country, I think. You guys are lucky that your families are more affluent, you know what I mean, than they used to be. During the Depression, it was terrible. But you didn't know, I didn't know that because I was a kid. I was just having fun, you know? Like you know, you don't care what anybody thinks, you're going to have fun.
Not at all.
What did you guys do for fun?
Oh, man, we played nip.
What is that?
You get a little piece of stick, a broom handle, and you sharpen both ends. It's about that long.
Mm-hmm.
Then you take you put it on the ground, and you take a stick, and you hit the end, and it flips up. Then you hit it. That's nip.
That's awesome.
I mean,
And also, we went sledding in the winter time, like hooking onto cars with your sled and things like that. Stupid things that you can really get hurt. We had a couple of places like Chestnut Ridge where you can go tobogganing and all that stuff. But you had to have a toboggan. My friend Ray Chamberlain had a toboggan, so we used to go there. We used to go off the ski jump in the toboggan.
sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a pile of snow. How the hell could you get hurt?
So you didn't really see the Depression like everyone else saw it? You didn't really see the suffering?
No, it was
I was too young, right?
Depression to me was just another era in my life, you know, that I lived through. I didn't realize it was that bad. You know what I mean? No kid my age would even think about that. What do we care? What do we care? I didn't know I was poor.
No, but you had no clue that you were poor. You had everything you wanted.
I didn't have
Your parents
I had everything I needed.
everything
you know,
you needed. You had
Shoes,
food.
Clothes.
Mhm.
And that's another one. They used to give you clothes, everything.
Food.
You know those corduroy knee pants? You hear in school, everybody had them.
Those are government issued?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're knickers. And they had high tops for boots that gave you to come up to here.
So
When I was a kid, I won an amateur hour, the Italian amateur hour. I was about 7 or 8 years old. I won a gallon of olive oil and a pair of high tops with the knife.
what is the Italian amateur hour?
Well, I sang Italian songs. You know,
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was about 7 or 8. C'è la luna mensa mari, mamma mia, menare dare. You know what that means?
No idea.
That means,
Sanchitu.
There's a moon in the middle of the ocean. I want to get married. You know, it's an Italian folk song,
Yeah.
like "O Solo Mio" and things like that.
So, did you ever, like, did you realize that your parents were, or did your parents have enough money to support the family?
They had the money that they could order. My father worked 1 day a week for the
So they took advantage
1 day a
of
week.
They took advantage. They made their own. We had a great garden, even in our backyard, and then over the fence we dug another big garden. Me and Gene, my brother Gene, and my dad. So we always had fresh fruits, seeds, dandelions. You know, they used to grow after it rains. We'd go on the railroad tracks, pick those tender dandelions. My mother used to make stew, salads out of them. Delicious. That's why we lived so long. We were eating the good stuff from the earth. I think that had a lot to do with our health and the way we were raised.
So what about during the winter?
The winter was great. You know, we used to just get into trouble all the time. Snowball fights, you know, we snowmen. That's all fictitious bullshit. I never been made a snowman. I mean, that's newsreel stuff.
Yeah.
And we used to have snowball wars or whatever, you know, hook onto buses or cars with our sleighs, you know, just hang on. We wouldn't be on the highway. We'd be in our community.
Yeah. Well, what I meant with that question was like for food. Did the garden stay alive during the
we
winter?
had a lot of fresh fruits. We had to pick. We went and picked fruit, and we grew fruit. But for a living, we used to go in the summertime to the farms and pick berries for extra money, and whole tomatoes, stuff like that, big beans, you know. And that you know, that would supplement my father's income.
All the families did that. The farmers would come to the neighborhoods, and you know, people knew that they were there to pick up workers, and then they would transport the workers to the farms,
and
live
trucks,
in live
the back
in
of trucks.
They would live in shacks on the farm and stay there until the crops were picked or hoed or whatever.
Yeah, all the work was done.
All the work was done.
That was
Extra money.
It made money, you know, so much a quart for berries, you know, 2 cents or something. You had to pick a lot of berries.
My mother used to say, you're making the money for your clothes for school.
Yeah.
So it made us feel good that we...
Yeah. Yeah, that you know, that helped. Are you done?
No.
I just need the question. I just locked it again.
No worries.
Can you just tell me the password?
9898. I have a question. So, when World War II came about, a lot of what we've been reading in school is about how a lot of people think that it was a good war because the enemy was so clear. So,
There's no good war, but it was.
I agree with you.
It was worth going to war, fighting for your country. You had a reason to fight for your country.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, my question is, because you didn't fight, did you feel like you were missing out, sort of?
No. When I was old enough, I joined.
Right.
They were going to draft me, so I joined the Navy. I didn't want to go in the Army. Because the draft lasted, you know, all the way to 1948.
Was it a popular thing to do, like more than it is now?
Well, after December 7th, 1941, you know, attack on Pearl Harbor, people were lining up to go
to join.
to join an Army, Navy, Marines.
How old were you then?
Let's see, 14. I think,
14.
15. No, 13. My brother Gene was at Schofield Barracks in Pearl Harbor, you know, in Hawaii.
So
on
he was
December
there?
7th.
He was there?
Yeah. Yeah, he was there.
What did he say about the experience? Did he ever tell you?
Yeah, well, he said, those of us that lived through that, you know, he says, we were damaged up here because they were cleaning up the harbor, arms and legs, you know, that kind of shit. He says they brought me home in a basket, he said. You know, they brought me home in a cage. And then he rehabilitated him in Colorado. And he became a college professor. Your Uncle Gene.
So, the war starts in Europe, and it's Germany, Italy, and Japan. So,
Japan didn't
not in Europe, but
fight right away.
How did you feel about Italy and the fascist regime happening in there?
I didn't like that.
Uh-huh.
My father was up in arms. Saying those, why did he do that,
So you didn't like what was happening in Italy at the time?
Well, I was a kid. I'm just going by older people that were around me, their expressions about it. They didn't like what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? It was, they called it a good war because you were fighting for something. You knew what you're fighting for. You're fighting to save liberty, to stay free. Because not Hitler, he had something else in mind, And the reason why he turned on the Jews is because they ran the whole country. Of Germany. And they were capitalizing on all the German knowledge and people, They just took charge of all the, they had all the money. The Jewish people, they had all the money. Just like here.
Like you were saying, how in your community there were German people.
Yeah.
How, after and during the war, how was it like to have German people in your community? What changed? Or
nothing changed.
There wasn't.
They were still in our community. We're still friends. We went to school with them.
They weren't treated poorly?
No, the Japanese were.
Right.
You know about the camp up there.
Right.
Camps, yeah.
The most stupid thing I ever heard of in my life. They were American citizens.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a misjustice of the century. That I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was that what most people believed about the Japanese internment?
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Well, a lot of white people didn't, they said, they deserve to be there because of Pearl Harbor. It was a sneak attack. They knew it was coming. Roosevelt knew it was coming.
Did he?
Yeah.
You could hear the planes coming over. Something was happening.
But
From Japan, planes were coming over to Hawaii.
They were
so
going
to
to join. They were going to join the Germans, and take over the world, because they were convinced the Germans had the right idea.
Yeah.
Who was convinced?
Japan.
Yeah.
But when we got into the war, we could outproduce any country in the world, anybody. They were the weapons and vehicles for the armies were coming off the lines like we outproduced the whole world. There ain't nobody gonna beat us. It used to be like that, but now, I don't know.
But during that time too, a lot of women worked in the factories. They worked.
Yeah, women worked in the factories. Just like they do in Russia, in other countries. The women work. In Israel, women are very prominent there.
So World War II starts and there's all this mass manufacturing of tanks and weapons and stuff. And
yeah, but
did you see a boost in the economy? Were people living better lives after that?
Well, everybody was working. Everybody. And they were making good money for the time. They weren't working for a minimum wage. You know what I mean? They were working.
So what was your father doing during the war?
He was working in Bethlehem Steel as a blacksmith. Made tools in the open house. Everybody worked everybody was working during the war. Everybody, especially in Buffalo. Like I said, they had an airplane, Curtis Wright Airport, Bell Aircraft. What else? They had Ford Motors there, GM. They had all these manufacturing people making war.
What were they making up there?
Huh?
What were they making up there? Planes and...
Well, yeah, they made the planes, the P-40s, Curtiss P-40s, the Bell, dual body. You ever see the dual bodies?
Yeah.
The Bells. Those were fighter planes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were made in Buffalo. Well, not only in Buffalo, but they had one of the plants there.
Trying to cover the wind. Was there ever a feeling that the U.S. wasn't going to win the war?
Never.
It was always...
No way.
So you were never afraid that the Germans were going to come over, the Japanese
No
were going to
way.
get to the homeland?
In them days, no way. There were, submarines off the West Coast and all that.
Mhm.
But I didn't think that, none of my friends or American people, when they set their mind, Americans, at that time, I don't know about now. I mean, they were real Americans, you know what I mean? I mean, they were it's a melting pot here, but they became Americans. You know what I mean? They loved it here. And they'll fight for what they love. There was no doubt that we were going to win the war. No doubt. We couldn't possibly lose with our production power.
Right,
You
right.
know, they couldn't possibly produce what we did once we set our mind to it. That's what's great about this country. If you set your mind to do something, you'll get it done, but nobody's cohesive anymore. They're not together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This country is like this, pulling against each other.
Right.
It's a drag to see that, because this used to be a great country. I still think it is, but there's a lot of things going on here, with politicians that, that the main thing is making money. That's the ruination of the whole damn world. Money.
Do you think it'll ever be how it used to be?
I prayed it will. It's, if the young people grow up being proud of their country, then it will be. But if the young people start, getting dissent about what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
it never will be. It's up to you people, up to your generation to bring it back.
Interesting.
I think. I know you could do it.
You just got to do it.
All right, Dan, what's up?
Trying to find some questions.
Well, I had a question. Danny was telling me that you were a jazz musician.
Yeah.
I just want to know if you could tell us a little bit about that, just here at the tail end of it.
Well, I was really a bricklayer because I had
Mhm.
4 kids before we were 21.
Wow.
I learned how to lay brick
Mhm.
after I got out of the service. That's where I raised my kids with, but I was a musician too.
Mm-hmm.
I love to play music.
What instrument did you play?
Tenor, saxophone, clarinet.
Interesting. And where were you when you were playing primarily?
Playing?
Mm-hmm.
I've been all over the world, really.
That's very cool.
Just recently I've been Australia, New Zealand, Philippines. What's that other place? Beautiful place.
Singapore?
Singapore. Nice. Yeah, and I was on the road too. When winter time in Buffalo, the bricklayer didn't work. It was winter time. I'd go on the road with the band.
What was that like?
It was fun because you were playing,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't easy. You getting on a bus every morning, traveling. Sometimes you checked in, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes you hit and run, played a gig and then go to the next town. It wasn't easy, but while you're doing it, you're playing music and you had a lot of great guys in the band, So the camaraderie was good.
Dan?
So
Yeah, I played with some big bands. Woody Herman, Harry James, Billy May, Chuck Mangione, all the bands. What else? Yeah, played with all the bands.
Do you still play?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I still try.
So, there's another question here that is kind of interesting. What role did the mob play in your life?
The mob?
The mob, the Italian mob.
Well, we lived among them. Where we lived in Buffalo. I mean, there was. In fact, their children and my children grew up together. And but to me, the mob was, I wasn't any part of it. They asked my father when he was young. Al Capone asked him to be his bodyguard because my grandpa Cavelli was badass. But he said no. He said no. I'll sell your beer in my restaurant. But no, I can't do that. So that's it.
Could you tell who was in the mob? Like, did they have a
They
certain...
lived all around us.
Unless you knew, you couldn't tell. Just like,
Yeah, they're nicely dressed and everything.
People,
But I know they used to gather at the ice cream parlor. You remember on Virginia
yeah,
Street?
I worked there.
Yeah. All these guys, the geese.
Yeah, but
Right across from the Butler Mitchell Boys Club. Like Uncle Dave took Joni to see the Wise Guys, with Joe Pesci and all that. And Dave was laughing his ass off, and Joni was saying, "That's terrible." He says, "What are you laughing about?" He said, Dave says, "I grew up with those guys."
So Dad and everyone knew all of them?
Huh?
So my dad and all my uncles and
Well,
aunts knew all of them?
They played with their children. They
They-
grew up with their children.
yeah, they had a place called the Butler
Mitchell Club.
Club. Butler
That was a
Mitchell.
boys' club.
It was a boys' club. Everybody went there, whether you were...
We lived half a block away from it.
Yeah.
We were like in the ghetto, the Italian ghetto, Virginia Street. All Italians there. And, the kids grew up there. And they turned out all right. As long as you got street smarts and you got ambition, you can do whatever you want. But you got to have the street smarts. You can't let people take advantage of you. You know what I mean?
So,
You got to have the balls to stand up too.
yeah. So, do you think the American dream has changed from what it was in the 40s and 30s to what it is today? You still think it's accessible today?
No, people have the American dream, but it's a different kind of dream. You know what I mean? It's not like, owning a house, raising a family, living within the law. And everybody's out to make money now. You know what I mean? They cheat on their taxes, they cheat on everything, Everybody's looking to get something for nothing without working. You gotta work for what, and you appreciate it more if you work for it.
But during that time, there was a place called the Armory.
Oh, yeah, the
And
74th Armory, yeah.
And people who didn't have enough to eat would go there and get food. They'd get cheese, sugar, flour, whatever they needed, they would get there at the Armory. Free.
This is during the Depression?
Yeah.
Well, after the Depression, too. Needy people, they have needy people, they give them food now. That's what was one thing. The government helped. The government did that.
Going back to FDR, what, other than the CCC, what specifically, like part of the New Deal, affected your life? Or like...
Well, the electric thing, Tennessee Valley Association.
Mm-hmm.
That was his idea.
Right.
What else? He created a whole bunch of stuff. The WPA, Workers Products Association.
Like that.
WPA, it was the workers something. I can't think what it is now. But he put a lot of people to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he was elected 4 times.
4 terms.
When the country is that down, you can't get that done in 2 terms.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what the Republicans say.
Workers Progress Administration.
That's it.
Oh, you found it out.
Yeah, in
found
other
it.
words, they trained them. They
Mhm.
trained them for different jobs. Well, there's other things.
How was your father involved at that time with work?
He worked at Bethlehem Steel.
He
That's
worked
it.
at Bethlehem Steel.
Yeah. Till the war started, then, one day a week or 2 days a week, and then the war started, and then they were working, 48 hours a week.
What did he work as, Larry?
He was a blacksmith. He made tools in Bethlehem Steel.
Did you ever get a sense from your parents that they were worried about the Depression or worried about money in any way?
Yeah, but I didn't pay it no mind. I could see they were working their ass off, My dad was, but he made his wine every year, him and his buddies. Then they played cards and drink wine.
And my father made wine too, but he would sell it. Yeah. There'd be people that, by word of mouth, that my dad had wine to sell. And so they'd knock on our door and say, they wanted some wine. And my father would sell them wine he made.
He made hooch too.
Whatever. I don't know what that is.
Uncle Sam, my Uncle Sam, he had a big house on Lake Michigan, 80 feet, was beautiful. He was a bootlegger. I mean,
You don't have to whisper.
when
Overson's over.
Panera's bread,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's Cavalli owned. My first cousin Albert, when my Uncle Sam sold his business, he gave Albert so much money. And then Albert and his brother-in-law, they bought 2 McDonald's for $12,000. They ended up owning 400. You know what they were selling for at the end? 120,000, 220,000 a franchise. So they got all this money. Now they come up with Paneras.
So
That's part of the Cavelli.
You might still see that name around.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
right.
all over the country. You've seen them. There's a little shop where you could eat, order, food.
Yeah.
so he was able to start this Panera Bread franchise through bootlegging. Is that what you said?
No, that's his son started that. He gave his son so much money after he sold his business. He had a wholesale fruit business. And then trains would come right to his warehouse. He had that. That's after the bootlegging. He made made money that way. He was my drinking buddy, Uncle Sam. Yeah. I'd get to Chicago, I'd get on a train and go right to Kenosha. Auntie Anna was a great cook. In fact, we went on our honeymoon
Yeah,
there.
we did. Right on Lake
Lake Michigan.
Michigan.
It was great. In fact, on our honeymoon, there were roadhouses around Chicago and Wisconsin. Blank gambler, you could gamble in there. Shoot the dice, they had one-armed bandits.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was fun.
Yeah, gambling was prevalent.
What's that?
And,
So
That's it.
no, we can keep going. But
Well, can you get the questions back up?
oh dear.
Did we go over the two main questions? feel like
Well,
we
I
should
think I think we talked about
we should close
World
on
War
that.
II being a good war, but
Good war.
not being a good war.
Well,
you know.
it was a righteous war.
So,
There you go.
No war is good.
Hmm.
Righteous.
so what do you think the government's responsibility is to its citizens? I mean, we talked about FDR's integration.
Okay,
into-
what's the Constitution say? For the people, of the people.
by the people.
It's not that way anymore. Everybody's looking to get their hands out. You know, everybody's got their hands out. And the people's hands are out too, but nobody gives a shit. You know?
Yeah.
I think there's more, you know, what do I put in? More, you know, the people in charge of our government aren't for the people anymore. They're for themselves. That's what I think personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at my age, I'm going to be 87. So I lived through a lot of eras. You know, it's not the way it used to be. Or maybe I'm wiser now and I caught on. Maybe it was always like that, but I never thought it was like that. Never.
Okay.
My wife and I both, you know, we've been through the mill, raised a family, 12 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren. Not bad
Not bad
for
at
a
all.
bricklayer.
Nope. All right. Well, thank you for talking to us.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I just hope the Clippers are winning.